love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. We gonna have a party tonight. I'm gonna find that girl underneath the mistletoe. We'll kiss by candlelight. Yeah, boy. Hello everybody, welcome to my boudoir. You can see I have got in the Christmas spirit. £2 from the co-op. I said, why not? Why not to the co-op giving off £2 Santa hats? Hell yeah. I don't suit hats, that's the problem. I don't suit hats, so hair in front, hair behind. What does Santa do? So, cheers. Welcome to the Christmas season. Christmas is coming around. Albie's in his little jersey. Come here, you. Come here, you. I bought him this thing from Pets at Home. It cost me £12. £12, Albie. Do you know how much that is? That's an hour and a half's wage. So, for this Mental Health Mondays, I thought I would ask you to send me in topics to talk about, and my drunken self will just chat about them, because you know what? Me and Pip, right, and Jen, I'm so sorry. That was disgusting. Lol. Always have DMCs, deep, meaningful chats. So I thought, let's have a deep, meaningful chat, but we normally have them. The problem is, we normally have them when we're drunk. So I thought, right, I'm already 3 glasses of champagne down, 3 glasses of Prosecco down, and I've got a glass of wine in front of me. It's a Sunday evening. It's currently 9:15. But you know, 'tis the season of love and understanding. I haven't taken my meds today because, long story short, me and Jen went out last night and I woke up at 10 after going to sleep at 7. And I've just forgotten to take them. So I'm going to take them tonight and hopefully they'll give me an extra oomph for tomorrow. You know, a little oomph. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, anyway. Anyway. I asked for questions on my Instagram about mental health topics. Right, let me have a look. So I uploaded a photo of me being very like vain and being like, oh, in the lights. Oh my god, my eyes look so blue. That's what I did. Before I start, can we just say this is a light-hearted video. You know, we can talk about mental health in like a way that I would talk to my friends about it on a night out, or like walking home from a night out. You know, this is what this is. I'm not a professional, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not anything like that. I'm just a girl who's been through struggles herself and wants to help other people out, but this time in a Christmas hat. So, yes. Right, so I haven't read these questions before, but let's just go with it. So the first one is, how about dealing with not having or having a diagnosis, how to accept it? This is something that's so difficult because you're so torn at this point. I remember when I got my first initial diagnosis of BPD, which I don't know if I have, but like for the moment we're just going to say that I have BPD and psychosis because that's just the easiest way to go about it. Like part of you is like torn because you're like, oh my god, I do not want to have this label on me for the rest of my life, like in my notes, like I don't want people to just see that and assume something about me that isn't true. But on the other hand, I see diagnoses, I see them as a way to access help. So for example, if you are diagnosed with BPD, by having that diagnosis, you are able to access DBT or like other therapies that may help you, like MBT or DBT or CBT or, you know, any of them behavioural therapies. If you have bipolar, it may enable you to access help through medication, like that can help you or stabilise you for a certain period of time if you're in crisis. Like all of these things, they shouldn't be seen as a negative thing to have put on you. It's like, all I want to say is like, it's not put on you, it's like you've given it out instead, if that makes sense. So like, people think that when you've got a diagnosis of BPD, like it's put on you, like you're dampened down, you're added to the stigma, everyone's going to think that you're the stigma of BPD. No, you're giving it out and they are just labelling it because that's what they do. So, in order for them to do that, it means that they can offer you help that you wouldn't otherwise be able to access, if that makes sense. So I know it's really hard to accept it, but you don't have to accept it. Accepting your diagnosis comes with a lot of time. Like I haven't really processed my psychosis diagnosis. That rhymes. Yeah, I haven't really processed it, and like I don't really even still talk about it on my YouTube channel that much. Just because I'm like, I'm not embarrassed about it, I just don't understand it to the extent that I would want to understand it in order to talk about it. Whereas with BPD, like I've kind of settled with, I'll probably be diagnosed with that for the rest of my life, or until I can like recover from it. So like with BPD, part of me, I'm not gonna lie, it came with a bit of relief because I was like, finally someone is putting into formation what I am feeling, and that's really important in order to have a stable future, and like in order to feel valid, to have something literally written in front of you as a guide to how many steps you must have in order to have BPD, and to relate to so many of them was for me a bit of a relief, because after so long I didn't know what was wrong with me, and then to see that I was like, oh bitch, that was what was wrong with me. I hope that makes sense, because all I'm saying is basically that like you will either accept your diagnosis straight away or it will take time, and I'm in both boats. Whereas like for a period of time I really didn't think I had BPD, but at the moment like I think I'm recovering from BPD, that's why I didn't think I had it. So yeah, like with my psychosis diagnosis, for me that's really difficult to talk about because I haven't had any processing time with it, I haven't had any therapy, I haven't had any like, basically it was like, you've got psychosis, just go away and don't have it anymore, because that's how I kind of felt. Because it was like, if you're having delusions, don't feel them. If you're having psychosis, just don't have them. Like, we'll give you meds to make you not have them. But in reality, like, if I'm struggling with this illness, I want to be able to process this illness. And like, for me, I'm a very self-analytical person. So being able to like understand myself is very important to me. So if I can't understand myself in certain ways, it just bothers me. Like, for me, that is just a bother in my head, because I don't want to relive it and I don't want to reprocess it, but in part of me realises that eventually I'll have to do that in order to feel okay, if that makes sense. Like, I'm doing okay, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm doing the best I've probably done in 4 years since I was ever first admitted. I can say that I'm doing the best that I've ever done. I'm thriving. All I would say to you is, if you're at that stage, talk to people first of all. Talk to professionals, talk to your parents, talk to your guardian, talk to your teachers. Anyone that can give you kind of an outside perspective on it is great. But also, don't give yourself such a fucking hard time. I feel like we give ourselves such a hard time over having to understand everything about ourselves. You fucking joking? I don't know how long I was talking. I was just talking about that topic for so long, and I've just realised that I wasn't recording. So whatever I cut off, basically what I was saying is, don't be so hard on yourself when it comes to diagnoses, because all they are, if you see them as a mechanism to access help, it changes your whole perspective on them, and that's what you have to remember. So yeah, that's all I can say on it. So if you don't already, follow me on Instagram. I talk about mental health all the time. Every Monday is a mental health Monday. Up in here, yes. So follow me on Instagram or Twitter. Instagram's where I'm kind of like living my best life, you know. Twitter, on the other hand, is my political views, and also me just being a depressed mess, which few and far between, has not been that much recently, so hats off to me, darling. And it says, grounding yourself when the voice in your head seems so much louder than reality. Now, I don't know whether you're talking about voices or the voice in your head, because they're two very different things. Like, I can distinguish now between the voice in my head, which is saying things like, you're a bad person, no one likes you, you're fat, you're ugly, blah, 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 blah. And voices around me which are saying, Marie is applying fake tan, and Marie is doing this, and if Marie doesn't do this, then this will happen, and if Marie doesn't do this, then this will happen, and oh my god, Marie, you're doing this and you're so funny, and oh my god, Marie, if you do that, you're so safe, and if you don't do that, you're so wrong. Like, do you know what I mean? So, like, the only way I've felt has helped is through distraction, and that's by, like, drowning your voices out in music. Right, hear me now. Do not go listening to Breathe Me by Sia and try and expect these voices to somehow miraculously go, because they won't. I'm telling you from experience. That does not work, honey buns. I'll link my positive playlist down below. Put on that and literally focus on the song. That's all I can say, is like, if you focus on the song, then if, like, and I'm not talking about just like focus on the song, I'm talking about like focus on the song. Hey Albie.
Albie, what have you been doing?
What's he doing?
I think he's eating some food. What have you been doing?
Dad, do you want to say hi to my video?
Excuse me?
Do you want to say hi to my video?
Hi to your video.
Yeah, do you want to say hi?
Oh. Hi. Hi. Hi.
you've got this far in the video, then congratulations, you win a prize. But comment down below, Luke is the best, because Luke is the best.
That's my dad, everyone. By the way, guys, I bought these new lights for my room. Right, if I turn the lights off, rolling with my Jane no huss. Rolling with my Jane no huss. Right. Wait, it changed colour. Look, I've got this little remote.
Amy, I've been deleting anything you got on the floor. You got loads of food and everything.
Yes,
Be careful, please.
That is sick. This is quite a nice ambiance. Yes, bitch. Let's work with this. I'm probably gonna hate myself later for doing this, but you know, whatever. I'm gonna have to turn the light on for this. Blinded by the sunlight hurts my eyes. Everyone has wanted me to talk about attachments. So I'm just going to put a trigger warning before this question because I've just answered it and I've realised it might be triggering to some people. So like if you're triggered by the mention of eating disorders or like psychotic episodes, please just click off the video because it's not, like, I don't want you to pain yourself by watching a video that's going to be harmful to you. If, like, the only reason I want my videos to be out there is to be beneficial or relatable to people, and if you're not in the right headspace to receive them, then please don't. Like, I'm asking you from a personal level, please don't watch this because it's not helpful for you and it's not helpful for me. And I don't mind if you go and click on another video that I link down below. I'll link down my funniest video down below, so if you want to, you can go and see that, because not my funniest video, the funniest video on the internet, which I find absolutely hilarious. So you can go watch that instead. So if you don't know, attachments are like a thing that if you have borderline personality disorder, I'm not sure if it happens with any other disorders, it probably does. Please let me know in the comments if you do know, where you form attachments to people. I wouldn't say inappropriately, because it's not inappropriate like sexual relationship attachments, but they are inappropriate in the sense that like you shouldn't be feeling so strongly about a certain person. So many people have been asking me to talk about attachments, and I've just been like, how do I even breach this subject? Like, do I give like this kind of like analogy about what attachments are? Like, do I talk about that, or do I talk about like the facts of it, or the reality of it, or like my experience of it? Like, what do I talk about? So I thought I would talk about my own experiences with attachments, because I thought, I feel like I'm like way too like down from you. Oh, I'm literally gonna have to lie like this. I think the first attachment I ever had was to my teacher in school, and there was two teachers that I was attached to in school. I didn't really know what it was at the time because it was really strange. Like, everything I did in that day revolved around them. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, everything I did that day, like, I did for them. Like, whether it was like completing homework to like a really high standard, or like, I don't know, like going out of my way so that I'd see them on a lunch break, like weird things like that, which to the obvious person would seem quite abnormal. That's how I felt, and it was so strange. And like, I don't think I've ever fully recognised an attachment until I saw my... Right, I need to change this. I'm so sorry guys, this is the messiest video I've ever filmed. I feel like I didn't really notice attachments until I got to 17. No, even later than that. Maybe 19. And I realised that I was massively attached to my CPN at the time, who I get to go for brunch with on Wednesday. Like, talk about attachments, but like, you don't know how excited and how many people I've been telling that I get to go to brunch with my CPN on Wednesday, because I'm literally like gassed for it, like so gassed for it. I'm like, girls, do you see me? I get to do this and I'm so happy about it. I feel like I noticed there was an attachment between me and her. Well, not me and her. Her and me and her. And it felt really strange. Like, I don't know whether people want me to explain it or like just talk about it, because in reality I can't really explain it because I don't really know what happens, but I can talk about it in the sense that like how I felt during the time. And it was just like everything I did started to become revolved around this person, and it was like, do this for this person, because otherwise nothing bad would happen. It was like, you just have to do this in order for this person to make you like valid, or like, do you know what I mean, like a valid person, or like they would only take you seriously if you did this, or like it wasn't really, it was self-destructive, but it wasn't really self-destructive in the terms of like, I was like, I'm gonna top myself if I don't see this person. It was more like, in all honesty, right, so last year I had a real problem with eating. Like, this time last year, I don't know why I'm opening up about this, because this is a real raw subject for me, and I don't feel valid enough. Even though the doctor told me I have an eating disorder, I don't feel valid enough, or like I was skinny enough, or like underweight enough, or even though logically I know that doesn't matter. Yeah, so I felt like, and I still feel like, I'm not valid enough to say that I have an eating disorder, even though the doctors tell me that I have, and like people around me tell me that I have, and like the only person I feel real comfortable about eating with is Pip, and like when someone mentions food I'm like, do you know what I mean? So anyway, part of my thing in my head last year was, I really don't want this person to see this part of the video because it would make them sad. Good night. Good night.
You alright?
Yeah.
Get some sleep, okay?
I will.
Alright. Good night.
Good night. Just my mum checking up on me. She's like, how is my totally sane daughter doing? And I'm like, she's just talking to herself with the Santa hat on. Yeah, I don't want this person to see this, because it was like, get skinny for this person. Because basically, right, this is literally me going way too far into my mind, and like too far that I should be exposing on the internet. But like, if I'm gonna real talk about it, this is a reality of it, was like, get skinny for this person. Basically, I knew this person was gonna leave me eventually. I just had it in my head that she was. And it was like, get skinny for this person so that when you have a goodbye photo, like, you'll be skinny in it, and like all of this kind of like shit, which wasn't helpful for me. but formed not from necessarily an eating disorder route, but from like an attachment route, also linked with like a psychotic route, because like I was like, if you eat this food, so and so will happen to so and so. It was like everything I did revolved around that person, because I wanted them to think of me as a certain way, and if I wasn't that certain way, then things were not okay, and I didn't like it, and I felt out of control. So that's the only thing I can really say about attachments. If you want me to do a whole video on attachments, then give this video a like, and comment down below like whether you'd like it to be factual based or like experience based, like into more depth, or like whatever, like me finding out about other people's attachments. Let me know, because I really want to do a whole video about attachments, but I just haven't known how to go about it. So yeah. Someone said how to deal. I've gone blurred. I'm pissed. My eyes have gone blurry. Someone said how to deal with friends that aren't supportive about mental health and how to make them understand it. I feel like, right, if someone wants to understand mental health, they will. And from my own experience, I can only say that like the people who have stayed in my life with me from the age of 17 to now, which is 5 years, they have been the people who genuinely care about me, and I have not had to force them in any way to try and understand mental health. They just wanted to help me as a person, and as a person on a personal level. We had this mutual connection of, you are my friend, therefore I will help you when you need it, and in return I will do the favour. If you are having to force people to understand your mental health, these people are not worth it. I've learned from personal experience that someone who I would count as a very, very, very close friend just did not give a shit, or maybe even if she did give a shit, she didn't seem like she gave a shit about my mental health, and didn't give a shit about me as a person subsequently. So what I can say is that the true people stay, and if they want to know about your mental health and they want to help you overcome it, they will. And if they don't, then they just won't. They just will be ignorant to everything that you do. Like, you could be the most blatant person, you could write it on fucking the wall of their bedroom, and they still would not understand it just because they don't want to. And it's very hard to accept at times, because I know for me personally, I was like, no way can this person do this to me after so much we've been through. But in reality, like, they can do that, and they will do that. And everyone else who I thought that I would not have a problem with, I didn't have a problem with, because I thought that when I came out about my mental illness, people wouldn't treat me differently. And in reality, the opposite happened in both ends of the spectrum. So there was people who completely cut me off because they were like, this bitch was crazy, I don't want to know her, like, whatever, not about that life. Which, I mean, if you want to be that way, then fair enough. I'm better off without you, just saying. But on the other end of the spectrum was people who were, they didn't care. They didn't care. My mental health had no impact on our friendship because our friendship was strong enough to survive the mental health problem. And even when I was putting up like a front and being happy and whatever, when I eventually fell and couldn't keep up and maintain this happy-go-lucky person, they were there for me. And that's all I want to say to you, is that the good people will stay, and if people don't understand, it's because they don't want to understand. It's not because you can make excuses for them. It's not, because that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. Things don't have to be the same. I'm gonna answer one more. I don't know whether, comment down below whether you'd like me to do like quick fire mental health questions or actually go in depth about them, because I seem to do one or the other and I don't know which one people prefer. So tell me what you would prefer down below, and tell me whether you prefer me to be drunk or not. I will not be drunk. It's just the merry season, you know, like. I have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. Do you know what I mean? So right, let me find another question. I've gone blurred visioned. I can't see a thing. Okay, someone said talk about the book Good Vibes, Good Life and why you bought it, and I'd love to see a video on it. If you want to see a video on why I bought that video, because if you, not that video, that book, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that like, I'm not gonna toot my own horn here, but a lot of people have bought it and tagged me in their purchase because they're like, oh my god, Marie, like you've made me buy this book and it's so inspirational. So like, if you wanna see a video of me talking solely about that book, then give this video a like. Okay, I think the last question I have to talk about is coping with the Christmas period. Let's get one thing straight. Christmas is just another day, and I just want to stress that to you the utmost. If you're in hospital, if you are struggling on the outside, if you aren't even struggling, you can recognize that Christmas is just one other day of the year which can be recreated if needs be. For example, if you are in hospital, there is no reason why when you get out of hospital we can't create Christmas Day. Like, me and my friend have spoke about this, and we spoke about how if one of our friends is in hospital, then when they come out, we will give them a Christmas Day. We will cook a turkey, we will get in the same pajamas, we'll watch a Christmas film, like, that's what we're gonna do. I feel emotional. I don't know why, but I just remember how hard Christmas was when I was struggling. And all I'm gonna say to you is, you've got your goal as to how you want it to go, how you want it to be. I want you to think beyond that. I want you to think about the days after Christmas. It's not about Christmas Day. Your life is not about Christmas Day. You can miss one Christmas Day in your life because you felt shit. Mate, you can make up for that. I want you to think about the days after Christmas Day and how you're going to cope on Boxing Day. Like, what are you going to do on Boxing Day? What are you going to do the day after Boxing Day? These are the plans that you need to make, because Christmas Day is, as it is a very structured kind of thought out, planned event that like the whole family is in on, or like basically everyone knows what they're gonna do on Christmas Day before Christmas Day happens, but you don't know what you're gonna do the day after Boxing Day. And if you are in a place of like real torment and real struggling, I just beg you to talk to the people around you and set up a plan for what's going to happen after Christmas, because everyone knows what's expected of Christmas Day and what's going to happen on Christmas Day. What's going to happen after Christmas Day? Basically, I'm saying this because when I was in hospital 4 years ago, and I was sectioned 6 days before Christmas, and I wanted to make a Christmas plan so that I was allowed out on leave. I will show the photos here. Boom, boom, boom. All of it was about how on Christmas Day I'm going to make sure this goes well and this goes well and this goes well, and everything's going to be, you know, like shiny and gold and beautiful. And in reality, my consultant said to me, okay Marie, but what about the days after Christmas? And it like blew my head out the water, because I was like, bitch, I am not prepared for that far. And it wasn't in a suicidal way, it was just in a way that was like, Christmas was my main goal. But it's like, you've got to focus for the future, you've got to focus for what's going to help you in the long run, instead of in the short run. Say for example you're in hospital these days. Of course everyone would be like to be out for Christmas. Like, I can't even understand enough the desperation you feel to be out for Christmas, because you feel like a failure if you're not. You feel so left behind if you're not out for Christmas. But instead I beg you to just think about what you're actually going to do beyond Christmas, and not necessarily for like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I'm talking about the days in between. Like, how are you going to cope? And these are the plans that you need to have set in your mind, because otherwise it won't work and you will just end up back in hospital, or back in a rut, or back in self-harm thoughts, or back in suicidal ideation. You've got to think about the days beyond Christmas. Christmas is a goal, but it's not a destination, if that makes sense. Just make sure you know what you're going to do the days after Christmas. That's all I want to say to you, is that if you're struggling with Christmas, it's not your end goal to be happy on Christmas, and you don't have to force yourself or put this facade about you being happy at Christmas, because if you're mentally ill, you're mentally ill, okay? Like, I don't know what the problem is with people thinking that like mental illness is not valid, but like, if you are mentally ill, you are mentally ill. Deal with it. If you had cancer, you would have cancer on Christmas Day, just the same way as if you have depression on Christmas Day. So, I hope you enjoyed my happy-go-lucky Christmas celebration of Mental Health Mondays, because this is going to be the last Christmas Mental Health Mondays of the year. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this is just giving you a bit of insight to like conversations that Pip and I have, and like conversations that like me and my friends have. If we are like, I don't really talk about mental health with my friends that much, but like when we do talk about it, like we don't just talk about it, we go into like deep, meaningful chats. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and comment down below. She smells like turnips because I'm drunk and that's all I can come up with, apparently. So yeah, kisses. I love you all so much, like actually so much. Like, shall we have another hug? That's another hug. Another hug. Another hug. Aww. Lovely. Have a great Christmas if I don't see you before. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. I love you guys so much. Bye.